This famous assembly building, Punjab and Haryana assembly. That's the main entrance, designed and decorated by Corbusier. This Punjab and Haryana High Court on another side, basically in front of the assembly building. So this whole complex was designed by Corbusier. Punjab and Haryana High Court building. This shadow building, Tower of Shadow. They say Tower of Shadow. The important thing about this building is you don't get a shadow from any angle. That's why it is called as Tower of Shadow. And in front of you it is Punjab and Haryana Legislative Assembly. It is the joint assembly of Punjab and Haryana state. So basically it has two divisions. One is for Haryana, one is for Punjab. This Capitol Complex is called as the most important project designed by famous architect Corbusier. Capitol Complex has 4 buildings: Punjab and Haryana Legislative Assembly, this Tower of Shadow, that open hand monument, and Punjab and Haryana High Court in front of you. The place is of highest architectural importance, I would say. Not only architectural but also of cultural importance. The place has given public buildings a new identity. It has started a new revolution in field of architecture, in field of public buildings. It has defined the public buildings, the vistas, the open lawns, the brutalism in architecture, the fins, the openness, and a new material. I mean, now it's not new, but by the time when these buildings were designed, it was a new material. The building is built in exposed concrete. You can see the use of exposed concrete everywhere in these buildings. This is the famous Hindu swastika sign, very sacred sign as per the Hindu texts. That is the chakra, Ashoka chakra. You can see that in Indian emblem also. I think it has been derived from that famous Sarnath Ashok chakra. It is in the center of Indian flag also. This is the famous dome of assembly building, that connecting truss, steel truss, and that pyramid building on the top of the terrace. And you can see the decorated main entrance of the assembly building. It was designed and decorated by Corbusier. Since Corbusier didn't have enough time to paint this in India, so he got it done in his studio in Paris, and the same was airlifted to India when it was completed. You can see the punctures. These were the most important architectural feature of Corbusier's design. The vertical blades of the bristolial to cut the sun, to cut the Indian horse sun. And we are standing here, it's almost 36 degree temperature here. So you can assume the time of May, June, July, when temperature shoots up to 42, 44 or even 45 degrees Celsius here, because it's North India, the plains, Great Plains of India. Here sun comes directly and the temperature is usually very high in summers. Fortunately, now this is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, so it is, though it is well preserved, but more efforts are required. I think there must be more awareness among people. They should realize that this building is of architectural importance, cultural importance. It was a revolutionary thing in India, so it must be preserved for future generations. There you can see the Secretariat building also in the backdrop. That was also designed by Corbusier. There's a tower of shadow in front of you. So Chandigarh has been very outstanding example of Le Corbusier's architecture. Le Corbusier was a French architect, so he worked mainly in Europe and in India. He has worked only in Chandigarh and in Ahmedabad. There are 2-3 projects he has done in Ahmedabad also. So basically Chandigarh is called as Le Corbusier city, though he has been attributed to design of mainly this Capitol Complex and the city planning only. The open hand museum monument was constructed after his death. In fact, it was constructed in 1985, 20 years after his death. So it was his dream project, but it couldn't be materialized while he was alive. Corbusier was very fond of water bodies, so you can see water bodies everywhere in his works, be it in France, be it in Ahmedabad, be it in Chandigarh, or in other parts of world also. Because it's a huge and vast complex, so it also adds beauty in these buildings. Beauty of these buildings is enhanced in this kind of huge and vast setting, you can say. There are those famous Bryce Soliel or the sun cutters, and that central dome of assembly. It is a form of an atomic reactor, because by the time when Chandigarh was designed, India was focusing more on steel production, hydroelectric power projects, and atomic reactors. So even late Prime Minister Mr. Nehru, he told that these are our new pilgrimage, हमारे नव तीर्थ. So that can be reflected in this building's design also. I mean, this is my opinion. I haven't heard about this, I haven't read about this, but I think we can relate these things to those defining times. And the building is in exposed concretes, which was prevalent in that time. It was the brutalist period. You can see the architecture is very beautiful here. The design is wonderful.